Nope.
That's probably the most unrealistic thing.
Probably.
Just because if you're like, because they shove all 6 of those kids in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no one's saying, hey,
Put
buddy, put some fucking pants on.
Yeah, it's snuffy.
I just
and then,
imagine when I was a kid, like with my friends, like if I just like, oh, we're sleepover, huh? And I just take off my pants. Like, Jay, what the you doing? Put your fucking pants on. Don't make this weird. Welcome to A Cast of No Name. We're your hosts. I'm Jay.
And I'm Matt.
This is episode 62. This episode, we fight terrorists alongside Sean Astin and Wil Wheaton in the 1991 action thriller Toy Soldiers. But first, don't forget to visit our website if you want to catch all of our past episodes at castwithnoname.com. You can listen to our entire library, comment on episodes, write to our email, all that good stuff. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, which you probably already know. Please rate us. Helps expand the show. We would appreciate it. Plus, we're on YouTube.
Yep.
And thank you for listening.
Thank you.
All right. Until next time, we are... So...
I love this movie.
Yes?
Yes, I do. It holds a special place in my heart.
Okay. When was the last time you saw this movie?
A couple of years ago.
Okay.
I watch it all the time.
Oh, okay.
I enjoy it.
All right.
Yeah.
So, this is our Hidden Gems
Yes.
series, which we kind of talk about movies that don't get a lot of love, we feel like, or doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah. And we've talked about Dread. We've talked about The Final Girls.
Yep.
And now this.
Yes.
Yes. Because had you seen this before?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw this. I want to say I've only seen this twice.
Yep.
I remember the trailer and seeing the trailer more than because back in the day in VHS they would have coming attractions even on VHS's previews. They still do the same shit with DVDs and Blu-rays, but I remember seeing this trailer a lot, and I remember the shot of kicking the soccer ball into the window, and they kind of marketed it as, from what I remember, I was intrigued by it because the students fight back against terrorists.
Yep.
And I feel like this is probably one of the last gasps of movies that were kind of made like this.
Yep.
I want to say that was targeted. I don't even know if it was targeted towards kids.
That's why this movie stands out.
And
I don't know who they're targeting.
I know. That was I was like,
idea.
who is this for? Because this feels like a political thriller. But they don't focus on the adults. They focus on the children. Children being teenagers, high school, whatever. But I remember seeing the trailer, and I watched it. I remember my brother and I both wanting to see this movie. And we watched it and enjoyed it at the time. I think I'd seen it maybe once or twice after that.
Yeah.
The last time I probably watched this was at least 20 years ago, probably.
Oh, it's wow, that long, huh?
Yeah, and it, but yeah, so
it's like
I've seen it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's like you said, they're definitely like Die Hard came out 3 years before, and every movie was trying to hop on that Die Hard bandwagon. And I feel like the producers got this lick because they're like, oh, this is like the Goonies meets Die Hard.
Yeah, we'll even get the guy from Goonies.
Exactly. And that's what it is. It's Goonies meets Die Hard. Actually, it's almost beat for beat like Die Hard and Die Hard 2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the whole terrorist story and everything.
Yeah. And so, I guess.
But it's got a great cast.
Yeah.
I love the cast.
If you haven't seen this, I mean, you love it.
I love it. I do.
I watched it last night, and it's, I mean, I don't know if it's aged. Like, the tension, I feel like, didn't, maybe it's because I'd seen it before, but there's some aspects about this movie that I enjoy that you don't get to see really often anymore. I don't know. It's good, I guess. I mean, if you're like 15, 16, I feel like this movie's like you're the perfect age to watch this if you want to watch a serious R movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna get into spoilers, but I think the characters are good. I feel like it's paced pretty well.
Yep.
But I guess long story short, I'm not in love with it as much as you are. But
that's because you're just an awful.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I want terrorists to win. That's why it didn't hit home for me. So spoiler alert: the terrorists lose. But no, I mean it's. I mean one of the things I like about this is the adults aren't stupid.
Yeah.
And it's taken. I mean, this is presented very seriously.
Yep.
Not very, very seriously. I mean, it's not dark, but I mean, it has dark elements.
Yeah.
But it's a serious movie. Some of it kind of comes off a little campy, but I think that's just the time that it was made, kind of a thing. But something that the adults not being idiots and the kids not being unbelievable.
Yeah.
In things.
Yeah.
And the actions that they do.
Yeah.
And there's actual stakes in this, it feels like.
Yeah, there's actual consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Like real. That's why it stands out. It's because there's people die in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which gives that the stakes that you're talking about. It's just not you don't get this sense that everyone's going to make it out of here alive.
Yeah, and the only thing I think would, if I was going to make this, and again, this is 30 years after the fact, if I was going to change something, I think I would change, I guess, the performances of some of the kids in this, being more scared. Because I feel like none of them, I mean, you have a scene or two with Denholm Elliott when he's talking to the sophomores about the book that he's holding and how the book is forever, and that the kids are kind of concentrating on the terrorists with the machine guns. He's like, nope, look up here, kind of thing. I didn't get the sense, I mean, that scene, but I really didn't get the sense from any of the students in the movie that, we're being held captive by terrorists and we could die, kind of a thing.
I would say that I think that it was a smart choice to have it in a school like this where it's just kids that are tough to handle and they have a issue with authority, which may make it more believable that they weren't as scared because they're just, they don't like authority. Then it doesn't matter if you have a gun or not. Like, this is just who I am, and this is, and I think it plays well too with how resourceful they are and how, brave they would be. Because if you went to a normal, like how many would I mastermind these plans and like no, I would think that I would be scared shitless and I would do whatever I was told so I could make it out alive for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, you have a good point because they're used to being on their own. They're not a lot of these characters are kind of put there by their parents because their parents just don't have time to deal with them.
And they're rich.
Yeah, and they're rich. They're I mean, there's a scene in the movie to where it kind of outlines what all of the main kids' parents do, and a lot of them are either heads of state, representatives, or heads of country, or head of a mafia family, or whatever. And so maybe they're used to just kind of being on their own. But I like the scene when Sean Astin goes out to drop off the notebook, and he's trying to get back, and they're like, "No, you can't go back," and he's like, no, like people are going to die. I guess maybe a little bit more panicky from him. So, I guess just a little more fearful. I feel like they didn't. I don't know. They had some dialogue about it. I don't know. It felt like they didn't think it was real as much, or I don't know.
Maybe that's why it works because they're kids.
Yeah, maybe
they just don't realize it.
They're too stupid.
They're too dumb.
Fucking kids.
Yeah. Kids don't know.
They don't know. They don't even know what they're doing half the time.
Yeah.
But
I love the cast, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Louis Gossett Jr. I love everything he's in. He's so good. He's like perfectly cast in this role.
Yep.
He has like the right temperament that you would expect someone to be like the principal of a place like that.
Yeah.
Like he would be the person I would think of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
absolutely.
I like Denholm in there too. Basically playing the same character from Indiana Jones for the most part.
Yeah. And I was happy to see him.
I love that prank, man. Where they take the desk and all the furniture, place it exactly like it was in the office. That's good.
But Michael Champion, who plays the right hand guy of Callie, I think is his name.
Louis Callie, yeah.
Yeah, and because he's in Beverly Hills Cop, Total Recall.
Yep.
The main ones that I've seen him in, but he has that he has that look, just that.
Yep. Yep. A total ripoff from Die Hard. It's the same character from the black dude with the glasses he's trying to break. It's the same guy.
But yeah, I mean, I think overall the kids did pretty good. I think Wil Wheaton probably the best one.
He was good. I thought that group of friends was very.
Yeah,
I believed it.
Yeah, they were
a
pretty
tight
well.
group.
Like Keith Coogan, who played Snuffy Bradbury, he was good. He was the asthma kid with that.
He's in
smoke.
Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Yeah. Which came out around the same time. A completely different character too. He was pretty good in it.
And Andrew Divoff, who plays Louis Callie, he's awesome. He's got that look too.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Air Force One, and he was in Lost. He played one of the villains in Lost. He's a great character actor.
Yeah, I liked his performance in this. It wasn't. He could have really gone ham with it.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He came off as somebody who, one, he had an objective, and he didn't just turn the role into psychopath.
Yeah.
It was, he didn't want to, I mean, he knew what he wanted to do. So like I think a lesser actor probably would have just hammed it up to make him more of like just a monster kind of, which I don't think his character was meant to be a monster. It's just, I want my father out of prison. And because you never got the sense that he wanted to hurt any of the kids other than the time he whipped Sean Astin. But you almost got the sense that I'm whipping you for your own good kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Because he's
like you almost made me kill 5 people.
Yeah. It's like,
I did
pay
want to
attention,
do that. Yes.
Get disciplined because you almost fucked people over.
Yes.
Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I like that aspect to where he's not just a monster. He has an objective, and he almost like Sean Astin at that time almost ruined that objective for him because he would have had to follow through with his threat to keep everyone else in line.
And it makes sense why he would be able to lead a rogue militia of men. Like, of course, I mean, that's believable. I would believe that a militia would follow someone like him, someone who's got an objective, detail-oriented, fair, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And not just a psychopath that would fuck anybody over, go over his own word. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he was great, and Arlie Ermy was in it. Plays the Marine commander.
Yeah. Shocker.
I totally forgot. I always forget he's in the movie.
Yeah.
Every time he comes up, I'm, well, yeah, Arlie Ermy's in this.
He's pretty subdued too, and he doesn't play his normal like over the top drill.
He's not
instructor.
Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. He's not Full Metal Jacket or the Ghost in Frighteners, where it's the exact same character.
Yeah.
I like also just the concept of the story, which this is based on a book. Because I looked up, I tried to see what the book had that was different from the movie, because I was asking the questions like, who is this for?
Yeah.
And, but in the book, so the same kind of concept was in a book. It was an American school in Italy. It just had a bunch of American kids there, in the boarding school. This takes place in wherever the hell, somewhere in America. But I like the concept of the notion of we don't do negotiations with terrorists has been a long-standing thing in American culture. Like, they always play it up in movies. And I like the idea of, okay, the people in power don't negotiate with terrorists because they, in essence, have nothing to lose. It really doesn't affect them at all because they're so high up to where they're kind of out of the realm of something like that affecting them. But I like the idea of, okay, I'm going to hold a prep school hostage because these kids are direct descendants of these people in power. And then and that's one thing I think I would have enjoyed more in this movie was more of the parents and showing, I guess, the hypocrisy of that, because we don't deal with terrorists. Oh, wait, now my kid's involved? Oh, now it's different. It's like the whole thing with the war in Iraq back in the mid-2000s. You had people that were upset because we were invading Iraq, and you had there's a lot of like gotcha journalism or some like talk show pundits that would say, oh, would you send your kid over there to fight? And they're asking some 80-year-old guy his kids are already grown, they're not in the military, to where it's not affecting them, but they're still making those decisions because, well, this is the right thing to do, and they should do, but it doesn't affect them. No. So I like that idea of the story, and that's something I wish they kind of would have concentrated more on, as far as just instead of just that single scene. I mean, you get a little bit of that with, what's his name from Dirty Dancing?
Don't put baby in the corner.
Yeah.
Isn't he on Law and Order?
Yeah.
Jerry Roback or something?
Yeah, Jerry Roback. And he plays the head of the New Jersey crime family, to where he finds a way to negotiate his own way, which I feel like a lot of other parents would try to do.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think maybe having more of that, having those, because I think one of the students, I think Snuffy Bradbury, his father was a congressman.
Sorry, Snuffy Bradbury.
I know.
Who thinks of these names?
Keith Coogan's character, his dad was a congressman. And I think having that, like having a scene with him, like trying to talk with people to try and get to try and work out a deal, I think would have been great, or at least had something to value to add, to at least not hit the audience over the head with it, but just kind of, oh, now it's an issue, kind of a thing, to where maybe they hear about it first and they're like, oh, well, no, we don't negotiate with terrorists. Like, well, it's at this school, and like,
maybe we do.
Yeah. Like, just show the hypocrisy. Like, oh, now it's in my own backyard, so now I'm going to worry about it. Just like everyone else. I mean, no one cares about anything until it affects them personally. Yeah. So,
well, I think they didn't dive into that because I think this is geared towards 14, 15, 16-year-old boys that can't get into a rated R movie yet. So then they ask their dad to take them.
And that's what I was thinking.
And then their dad gets some like, this is it's not bad.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right.
Get a couple of headshots in there.
Yeah, it's some pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, when Callie dies, I was like, Jesus, I forgot how. Damn, that's like a Jason Voorhees type like practical effect. Damn.
Yeah, you don't see that stuff.
No, you don't.
It's great.
That was great.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, it feels like it's geared towards 13 to 17-year-old kids, especially boys, and it's like their action movie kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But there's certain instances in here that make me think, well, it's not, unless they just wanted a believable movie, to where, because, I mean, there's a scene where after Jerry Orbach tells the terrorists, hey, don't put my baby in the corner, and they start escorting him out the school, he, like, elbows one of the people escorting him out, he takes a machine gun, goes outside, and he sees one of the other henchmen, and he goes to aim the machine gun at him. And of course,
the recoil.
The recoil just like draws up the machine gun. He can't hit shit, and he ends up getting shot.
Yeah.
To where I feel like if a movie was made like that today, he would have taken out like two guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And as opposed to none, and just kind of looking like a kid with a machine gun.
Yeah.
Same thing with George Perez's character, who played Ricardo Montoya, the Jack dude that was always just walking around.
Yep.
Without a shirt on. the scene where he goes into the bathroom because like when they switch the chips in the radio receiver, and they get caught by a henchman in the bathroom, he goes into the bathroom. I feel like a lesser movie would have had him having like a boxing or a kung fu fight, 5-minute fight scene with a grown man, which I mean the kid probably could. I mean he was a full grown adult at that time, but they didn't have that. They just had the two kids tackling the one guy.
And then another kid actually hitting him. So, it made it more believable.
Yeah. So that I appreciated about that movie. But, yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, it must be geared towards, like, 13 to 17-year-old kids knowing that, they're going to rent this.
Yeah.
Or, because, I mean, back in the day, I don't know if rated R. Of course, I don't know. It wasn't until I saw Something About Mary. I don't even know if I was 18 when I saw that.
Came out in 98. How old were you?
15, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, got a movie ticket, no problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, you look 100, so.
I do. And
makes sense.
So I guess I forgot about that they really didn't card anybody in the late 80s, early 90s. So
it was a 17-year-old giving you your ticket anyway.
Yeah. And
like, yeah, sure, going in.
So maybe that's what they had enough market research to were like, hey, kids need a Die Hard kind of a thing.
Yeah. Could be. But
having said that, I think it's a fairly serious take on that kind of a movie.
Yeah.
To where if it was made today, it'd turn into like Three Ninjas or some bullshit like that. You have those two different things. You have Three Ninjas where you have a 5-year-old tum-tum, like eating jelly beans and kicking some dude in the nuts 50 times and falling for it. And then you have this movie, which is, I guess, more quote-unquote realistic take on it, which I think is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's probably what I like most about it. But yeah, I think the only thing I would, I guess, ramping up the seriousness of the situation as far as the performances from the kids, and then the maybe focusing on the parents just a little bit more, just to get a little bit more of an outside perspective, as far as what was happening.
Yeah.
And how they were trying to deal with it. Because I like that side story with Jerry Orbach, to where once he found out his kid died in an accident, he pretty much
have a nice little shanking prison scene.
Yeah, just slits the guy's throat, and he's like, all right, I'll teach him that there are no mistakes.
Yeah.
And they throw a prison right when they're trying to transport Louis Colley's father, and slit his throat, throw him over the edge.
Boom. It's one of those very sudden, like, violent scenes that this movie has, which is, I don't know, refreshing. I like the very beginning too, where they throw somebody out of a helicopter in that shot. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Yeah, throw them out of the shot. They throw the lady out of the window.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me where my father is. And he's like, oh, he's already in America. He's like, you're lying. And throw him off. He's like,
yep. This guy means business.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a very well-written movie in terms of believability that a character would do something.
Yep.
Like how they set Sean Astin's character up with, he organizes the phone to call the sex line. He's resourceful enough to make mouthwash to sell booze to kids. He takes chances, and he's inventive, and so you can believe that he would come up with these, like, probably highly improbable plans of switching the chips and orchestrating that and timing it perfectly to where the terrorists don't notice him. And
and it makes sense. It's not everything that's in the movie isn't out of the realm of possibility. It's they're not. I mean, they create believable distractions, and they time it enough to.
Yep.
They're smart about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I like how the kids aren't stupid, but they're not over the top awesome at everything that they do.
Yep.
And the adults aren't bubbling idiots.
Yep.
But yeah, it was directed and written by Daniel Petrie Jr.
Yep. You know what else he directed?
What?
In the Army Now.
He also wrote the screenplay for In the Army Now.
Pauly Shore's movie. which I enjoy.
Yeah,
I do like that movie.
I think I've seen it. I think a couple of times, and I remember liking it.
It's so stupid, but it's it's a guilty pleasure.
My favorite scene is it's the only one that I can remember off the top of my head is when him and Andy Dick are in the recruitment office or whatever, or not the recruitment office, but they're getting their orders, and they're like, you're going to Chad. They're like, what? They're like, yeah, we have an active war zone because they were expecting to get cush jobs.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, we're gay. And he's like, oh, you are? He's like, yep. And they like hold hands. They're like, kiss. And of course, it's released that Andy Dick probably would have had no problem with it. But then they just have like that awkward, like, and they're like, is it hot in Chad? But yeah, Beverly Hills Cop. He wrote that, and
nice.
But yeah, it was also co-written by David Coop.
Oh yeah,
who wrote
Indiana
your
Jones
favorite Indiana Jones movie, Dial of Destiny.
Yes, I know.
So
he can write,
but it was based off a book. So
okay.
But yeah, and the novel came out, I think, in like 87 or something like
Gotcha.
that. So,
well, he wrote Spider-Man and he wrote Spider-Man 2. So I mean, he's a good writer.
Yeah, he is.
He has his moments.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen Premium Rush?
No.
With Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I haven't.
He wrote and directed that. It's pretty good.
I heard it was good.
Yeah.
I remember watching the trailer and people laughing in the movie.
Oh, really?
Laughing in the theater.
At the trailer?
Yeah. And which I mean, the trailer, I was like, fucking Bike Messenger.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I mean, I've heard good things.
It's
about
good.
It.
Yeah.
Mason Adams is in it. He plays the deputy director
yes.
around the FBI guy.
He's also in
Son-in-Law.
Son-in-Law.
Yeah, another Pauly Shore reference.
I know.
Oh, Sean Astin, Encino Man, also with Pauly Shore.
Jeez. Was Wil Wheaton in a Pauly Shore movie?
I don't know.
Anyway. Yeah, what does he say in Son-in-Law, Mason Adams? I'd rather die. He says something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Man. But yeah, Toy Soldiers. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very entertaining.
But
it's good pace.
I mean, when did you first see it?
Oh, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I saw it when it,
like
I was the target
92.
demographic. Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing the trailer and wanting to watch it for a while. I mean, however long that was back then,
yeah.
I don't know. It could have been a year, but it was probably more likely 6
I didn't
months
see
or
it
something.
in 91. I saw it.
Oh, I saw it when it was on video. I didn't see it in theaters.
I rented it.
Yeah, I rented it too. And
I probably rented it when I was 10, 11. Mm-hmm. I just saw like kids on, and I heard it had terrorists in it.
Yeah.
So 11-year-old goes up to my mom and, hey, can I rent this? And my mom sees the box and she doesn't look at the rating and is like, sure.
Yeah.
Looks fine. It's not a horror movie. It doesn't have boobies on the front. Sure. Yeah. This should be fine.
Yeah.
She's nice and naive and let me watch things like that.
Yep.
My kids aren't going to get away with that, so.
Why not? You turned out all right.
I did, but it's a miracle.
Oh, well, the movies today are crap anyway, so
I know.
it's not like.
It's true. They're not going to make a movie like this again. They're not going a hard R, Goonies meets Die Hard. That's not happening. You got to have a superhero in it. It's got to be previous IP that's already established.
Yeah, I mean, they show Wil Wheaton getting shot with a machine gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think they were all like 20 at the time, but still, it's like, typically you don't see children die on screen.
No, definitely
like
not.
that's an automatic no anymore.
Yeah. Especially with a gun in a school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're definitely not making this movie anymore.
Definitely not. No.
If they did, it would be something god awful.
Yep.
The only thing I could think of that was like maybe Red Dawn, not the new one. I never saw the new one. But just the sense of like kids fighting back kind of a thing. Like, because you had those, like the 80s were just kind of full of that. Some did it better than others. But yeah, anymore you don't. I feel like there's really nothing that shows the kids up against a formidable opponents that are adults.
Yes.
It's usually campy or slapstick.
Cartoonish.
Yeah, cartoonish crap. And that's one thing, like, I feel like is missing as far as a genre. Because
I think that's why this stands out.
Yeah.
I can't think of another movie like this. A hard R movie tailored towards...
It doesn't even need to be a hard R, but just like the Goonies or like Cloak and Dagger. And, I mean, it wouldn't have to be a hard R, but just movies that were... are well-done stories about kids overcoming like some kind of obstacle like that, whether they're in high school or like middle school or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, the 80s, you just had a slew of those movies, and maybe there's not a market for it anymore. But I mean, E.T., Goonies, Cloak and Dagger, this movie, Red Dawn, Last Starfighter. I mean, that kind of gets a little bit into camp, but...
Yeah, but none of those are rated R.
True.
This is why this stands
But I'm just
out.
saying movies like that in general, you don't even see.
Yeah, I know, it's true. I'm saying those movies you don't see anymore, and then even back then, like, rated R movies with this sort of plot line centered around kids, like, that's why it stands out. There just isn't really anything like that, even back then, let alone today. Am I right? Am I right or am I right?
All right. All right.
Am I right or am I right?
Right.
Anything with Louis Gossett Jr. has got to be good.
Yeah.
I just checked. When's the last time I saw Louis Gossett Jr. in something that I really liked? He's an old man. He was in The Watchmen. That's right.
Yep.
It's the last one.
He was an Officer and a Gentleman. Have you seen that?
He won an Oscar for it.
Yeah. Have you seen that?
Of course I did. I went to OCS, so of course. Right after that, I watched it. I watched it to see how realistic it was, and spoiler alert, it's not. It's not realistic.
Oh, you mean CEOs and people they don't get in a boxing ring and beat the shit out of each other?
No, they don't do that. Yeah.
Louis Gossett Jr. is definitely a treasure.
He's a treasure.
So good. God, he's been in a lot of shit.
Yep.
I guess you love it a lot.
Yeah, I do.
But what's one thing you would change on it?
I don't think I would. I think this is as good as the movie could get. Honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's a quick hour and 45 minutes. Like you said, it's paced great. It is what it is. It's just an action movie that's supposed to be suspenseful and keep you at the edge of your seat, and it's entertaining. It's not Shakespeare by any stretch. It's not like one of the best movies ever made, but it does what it's supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't think you could improve it any.
Yeah. There's never a time when I watched it last night that I was like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some shit that's highly implausible, but it's never really out of the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing would be maybe when the kid was explaining to Sean Astin's character the microchip.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's the same one because these are all standardized. And I'm like, yeah, but there's more than one chip manufacturer. Like, that's the only thing that made me step back and be like, wait a minute. But
that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. No. That's nitpicky bullshit. That's no, I think it's fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, and they don't keep saying, God, we're old. They don't make them like this anymore.
They really don't, Jay. But they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unique. It's a unique movie. It's worth your time. I recommend it. If you got 2 hours to kill, I don't think it's a waste of time. It's fun.
If it's raining outside,
I'd watch it again.
You got kids that are teenagers or like 12 years old.
They'd find it entertaining. Yeah.
I mean, there's an F-bomb in there.
A couple of them.
Very beginning, some lady phone sex operator is a little descriptive, but it's all right.
It's nothing like...
Yeah. I mean, she talks about her nipples, but...
It's noisy.
Yeah.
But it's not like anything like Jesus.
Yeah.
This is rated R, folks.
Yeah. It is rated R, but it's rainy afternoon if you haven't seen it, or more likely your kids haven't seen it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Show it.
I like
Teenager, they're fine. There's nothing there. I highly doubt there's anything in here that they haven't seen before.
Are you kidding me?
But
they have a smartphone.
I will say that headshot though is
pretty sick.
Headshot and the throat slit.
Yeah,
I like that. Anymore, it's like shit splatters on the camera, and it's so fucking over the top that.
Yeah. I think half the budget had to have been the dummy with the
there's
headshot.
Explosions in there too. I'm just like, that's what an explosion looks like.
Yeah.
I forgot. And there's several of them. They blow up a car. They blow up. They blow up 2 cars. They blow up a truck. A couple explosions.
They have real helicopters.
Yeah.
Bunch of them. Yeah. Old school action, baby.
Yep. Yeah, and it's shot in the same school as Major Payne was shot.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. I found that out in the trivia.
In the trivia? In the IMDb trivia?
When I was doing research.
On ChatGPT?
Yeah. I was like, tell me something interesting about this.
About Toy Soldiers, the 1991 classic.
Yeah. But, well, anything else on Toy Soldiers?
Nope. I recommend it. Go watch it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's raining outside. You got a son. You'll like it.
He'll be better for it.
If you have a daughter,
she'll be better for it.
Yeah, there's some shirtless scenes with
whitey tighty scenes.
Yeah, whitey tighty scenes.
A lot of whitey tighty scenes.
I remember in my sleepovers, it was just nothing but us.
And whitey tighties?
Hanging out in our whitey tighties.
Yeah.
Just not putting on fucking pants.
Nope.
That's probably the most unrealistic thing.
Probably.
Just because if you're like, because they shove all 6 of those kids in there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no one's saying, hey, buddy, put some fucking pants on. Hey, Snuffy, put on some shorts, something. Just what are you, hot?
Yeah.
Why are we?
I get it if you were trying to impress us, but
yeah,
Snuffy, put some fucking pants on. No one wants to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's Snuffy.
I just
and then
imagine when I was a kid, like with my friends, like if I just like, we're sleepover, huh? And I just take off my pants. Like, Jay, what the fuck you doing? Put your fucking pants on. Don't make this weird.
What if your parents came, if you had a basement and you have like a couple buddies sleeping over and you're just standing there and your dad or your mom walks down, like, what did I walk into?
Hanging out in the whitey tighties. Can't say I ever did that. But I never went to prep school. So,
yep.
I mean, you went to basic. Did you guys just hang out? Like they did a lot of that in Top Gun. They were like in their boxers in the locker room and stuff.
Yep. No,
not really. Got a little hot in the sub.
Nope. None of that stuff. No.
Cracking the
got all sweaty.
Cracking the ceiling a little bit. Little cool water in.
Yeah.
It's glistening everywhere.
No.
Just no.
Nope. Which is why hanging out in your whitey tighties just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely, if I was in that group, I definitely would have told somebody to put some fucking pants on. Like, isn't that a great idea? Great plan. But first, put your fucking pants on.
I feel like the director was like, hey, take your pants off.
Yeah.
Take your shirt off.
It's rated R, guys. This is serious.
Yep. We got girls coming to watch this. No, we don't.
Yeah, we need the promotional poster.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie. It's entertaining. It's fun.
It's good.
Yeah. Nice practical effects.
Yes.
Guns and bombs. So, cool. Well.
All right.
Join us next time. We are going to find out if the Boondock Saints is really that good.
Yes, we will.
So
we've talked about this movie before, or at least you have. I think you talked about it with Puff. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So yeah.
I haven't seen it in a long time. So this is gonna be good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I think the last time I saw it was probably before Boondock Saints Part 2 came out. But I don't know when that was. I think it was early 2010s.
Somewhere around there.
But yeah, we're going to talk about that movie. We're going to rewatch it, see if it's actually
good
as what they say. So, because back in the reason why we're doing this, back in the early 2000s is just for a quick, it was a huge movie. It wasn't, I mean, it was released in theaters, but it got on, like, it was like Donnie Darko. It was like this and Donnie Darko that just blew up on DVD. And everyone listened. I mean, they made a joke about it in the office.
Yeah.
And
yeah, when I was in college, every guy had a copy of the Boondock Saints.
Yeah, I was in I was a TCOM major, so video production. Yeah, everyone was just raging hard-ons for this movie.
Yeah, including yourself.
Oh yeah, yeah. I thought it was
loved it.
Yeah, loved it. And last time I saw it, I liked it. So I'd be interested to see if that
carries over,
if I still enjoy it or not, or if I'm still like. Ugh.
I haven't seen it in probably like 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a
while.
My prediction.
Yeah.
I think I'll still probably enjoy it. Not sure how much of anything would be dated. Because, I mean, I'm not one to get all, it's insensitive now, kind of. I still Entourage, which they need to bring that show
That's
back.
A great show.
But, because I'm a bro.
Well, Ari's blow-ups are some of the funniest things ever.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, they're great.
So I'm guessing I will still probably enjoy it. But it'll be interesting because if I don't, I'll be surprised. But maybe I'll come off hating it or maybe not. I don't know. But we'll discuss it next week.
Sounds great.
So thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you.
And till next time, Matt.
Till next time, Jay.